No one here can love or understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Now make my bed and light the light. Oh, I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. Now you got to pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go, swinging low. Bye, oh bye, 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 blackbird. All right. Well, somebody waits for me, sugar sweet. Oh, 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 and see. Bye bye, bye 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 bye, blackbird. Not no one here can love or understand me. Oh baby, all my hard luck stories they all hand me. Oh, you got to make my bed and light the light. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, blackbird, yeah. I'm talking about blackbird. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye. Hey everybody, welcome to the Old Dog Show. I chose that song because today we're going to talk about Tin Pan Alley again. But first, let me introduce you to my good friend and co-host, Captain Harry.
Hey everybody.
My name is Mickey Carroll, and we're here to go through this whole history, this whole event of what happened to music when it came up from New Orleans and went into Louisiana, from Louisiana to St. Louis, and from St. Louis to Chicago and over to New York. And I mean, there's some things to talk about because as it did all this, it had to be published.
Yeah.
I'm talking about jazz and blues and gospel, all that stuff, and popular music. And in those days, you know, it's funny, in those days, jazz was popular.
It was popular, and it had to be shared, and the only way you could kind of share it was to have the sheet music at the time.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what Tin Pan Alley did. It gave you that opportunity. 1880 to 1953. That's the years that Tin Pan Alley was really pumping them songs out. You know, they had offices in New York, Chicago.
All the major music centers, New Orleans even.
And New Orleans, that's right. And the publishing melting pot of American popular music. I mean, right now, we've got music publishing spread all over the place. In regard to the internet, that changed a whole lot. But this particular time that we're talking about, Tin Pan Alley was kind of condensed. You know, you could find what you wanted right there, you know, and get them songs out there for the radio and whatever was going on in terms of state-of-the-art media. You know?
I remember even before the radio, there's a pianist had to have the sheet music, and they were starting to make up piano rolls for these player pianos.
That's
George
right.
Gershwin
was
big into that. And this is before Thomas Edison got that first phonograph cranking.
Yeah, man. Anyway, you know, the thing is that the jazz and ragtime and blues and being played all over the world. I mean, it was everywhere, from the Cotton Club in Harlem.
This is how old Mickey is.
All the way to the Left Bank in Paris.
He was managed by the fella who started the Cotton Club, who owned the Cotton Club, Herman Stark.
Herman Stark.
Herman Stark's son, Stephen,
right,
managed Mickey for quite a while in Miami, Florida, and around.
That's right, he did. I've got stories that will go along. We'll talk about that. Well, I won't go into it now, but boy, that was a whole history of changing things in regard to the African American culture and its opportunity to get the music out there. But on the other hand, the Cotton Club, had a set of rules that wasn't necessarily that palatable.
Right.
But at the same time, it was an avenue for Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, Count Basie,
Yep.
Cab Calloway, all
What an
those
entertainer,
cats,
yeah.
man. African American culture. I mean, they've given us so much. And there we go. We're back to Tin Pan Alley. And, you know, that beginning song, the one that we opened with,
Bye Bye Blackbird.
Bye Bye Blackbird, that was used in the African American civil rights
through the movement.
And you can tell by the lyrics, no one here can love or understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. And it was a pretty song, man. You could play it a lot of different ways, but I was happy to find that information out over the years because, you know, that particular piece lent itself to the younger generation as well as the older generation.
The older generation was already in love with that song, not quite realizing that the sentiment behind it was the freedom of that blackbird to fly and get its own wings.
There you go, buddy. That's the metaphor.
In the world.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to lighten it up a little bit and talk about Fats Waller again. You know, there's a funny little
He could
tune.
lighten up the room, couldn't he?
Oh,
He
baby.
was a big man, kind of heavy set. He played a magnificent piano, which a lot of people don't really realize what a great stride pianist he was.
Stride, man. That's an art right there.
Man, so he had the bass going. It's a whole show. So when Fats would get cranking on a song, he would captivate you, much the way Louis Armstrong would do when he'd
Yeah.
get out from behind the trumpet and
Yeah.
he'd start singing with that handkerchief in his
You
hand.
know, aren't you? We're kind of, and Louis Jordan did that too.
Right.
And
These were
Louis Prima,
entertainers.
you know, yeah, they all had that way
Jazz
of
was
jumping
pop.
on stage and entertaining and bringing improvisation piece, which is jazz, you know, to the forefront. I mean, come on, let me hear you do that tune, man.
Feet's Too Big.
Yeah.
That was, I guess, his...
Uh huh.
Say up in Harlem at a table for two. There was the four of us, me, your big feet, and you. From your ankles up, I'd say you are sweet. But from there on down, there's just too much feet. It said your feet's too big.
I'll sing it, Harry.
Hey, baby, say your feet's too big. I can't use you 'cause your feet's too big.
It's too big.
I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. I
Come
mean,
on, Rick.
enormous.
Bop.
Gizzy.
Can't even dance with a woman, her feet's too big. Look
She
out.
tripping me all over the place. And go away. Hey, you got them big feet's too big.
Your feet's mighty big, baby.
Gunboats, I'd say.
Yeah, man, that was Fats Waller for sure. You know, and there were many other tunes. Maybe as we go along, we'll play a few more. But you know, we're getting back to that turnaround again. These chords that were used all the way through, all that stuff. When that was published, I mean, they set a trend. You know, you
Yeah.
could almost see one song inside of another song.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Patterns.
yeah,
Again.
yeah. So if you were soloing, like you were playing, you know, I remember this turn later on. If you speed up the tempo, you're going to hear one, hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more.
Oh, no more, no
That's the
more, hit the road.
That was the same kind of turnaround that we're using. You could see where you set the trend there, and you know.
Get out of here and bring me some money, too.
That's right. The same tune, man. And they used that to death, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
Billie Holiday and Peggy Lee, of course, did that song, too.
Anyway, that turnaround, and there was this one, the one right here. This is in C, by the way. Yes, sir, that's my baby. And
That was another pattern, yeah.
It had a
That was
pattern.
popular in Tin Pan Alley.
That's right. It sounded like this. It was C and a half step up, and D to a G, right? So, okay. However, you could play that a couple of different ways, okay?
Sure.
You could not use the half step up. If you just wanted to turn it around, you could use it for an intro, for yes, sir. You'd use it like this.
That was
would be-
another popular turnaround. Slight variation.
Right? So you got C and D to a G, okay? D minor to a G. Okay, so we know that. We can use that for intros. Now you might even stop that turnaround and still just use one chord, okay?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, you can vamp.
You could do this. You
On
could
the
go.
one.
You could play, yes, sir. That's just C. That's my baby to swing. And you, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir. That's my baby now. And turn around. I said, yes, ma'am. We've decided, no, ma'am. I cannot hide it. Yes, sir. That's my baby now. Now we're going to the bridge, right? By the way, oh baby, by the way. And if we walk up to that preacher, we're gonna say 2, 3 with a whole lot of feeling. Yes, sir. That's my baby, no, sir. I don't mean maybe, yes, sir. That's my baby now. Oh, look out now. I said, yes, sir. That's my baby now. Oh, Lord have mercy, I love her. Yes, I do. Harry, that turnaround applies to that. If you wanted to play the tune with that same turnaround doing this, you could play it. Yes, sir. That's my baby. No, sir. I don't mean. Or you could do this. You could turn it around C. Yes, sir. To a G. That's my D minor.
Yeah.
D minor. No. To a G. And babe. D minor. Yes, sir. To a G. That's my babe. Turn around.
Exactly.
So those turnarounds fit so many tunes, and that's just one of them, you know. And it's fun, you know. If Cat's sitting in with you, he's got a pretty good idea of
I
what
think
to
the
do.
musicians are the ones who got that chromatic thing going, because it probably originally was just the one chord. Yes, sir. But then the cats wanted a little movement, certainly the pianist.
Right.
And he'd tell the bass player, and they go, yes, sir. That's my baby. No, sir. So you've got the chromatic movement and gives them some other place for their hands to go.
That's right, man. And anyway, you get to that and you go, back to the humor pieces in regard to bringing some fun in from Tin Pan Alley out there. I'm going to do a little tune that has that minor major change, like G to A minor, okay, and to a B minor, and then you got the A minor, and you back to the G, and that's your major chord, and we're in the key of G, and
Right.
you might be going like this: another bride, another June, another sunny honeymoon, another reason, another season for making whoopee, turning it around. A lot of shoes, a lot of rice. The groom is nervous, he answers twice. It's another reason, another season for making whoopee. Oh yeah, you got to picture sweet loveness down where the roses cling, and picture the same sweet loveliness, and think of what a year can bring. He's washing dishes,
Oh, yeah.
and baby clothes. He's so ambitious, he even sold. The boy's so willing, It's really chilling because he wants to make whoopee.
Well, I don't blame him, you know. But what about her?
How about you?
Another year, or maybe less. What's this I hear? Well, you can guess. She feels neglected. He's suspected of making whoopee.
Oh, that's
I believe that's right. She sits alone most every night. He doesn't phone. He doesn't write. That's 2 strikes. He says he's busy, but she says, is he? He's making whoopee.
You got a picture of sweet love nest out where the roses cling, and picture the same sweet loveliness. You know what? I want to play the bridge again. I want you to sing it for me. Would you
All
do
right.
that?
Yeah, there's another part to this. He doesn't make much money. Only 5,000 per. Now some judge, a magistrate, who thinks he's funny, says, you pay 6 to her. What does that leave me with? So he says, Judge, suppose I fail. The judge says, Bud, right into jail. You better keep her. I think it's a whole lot cheaper than making whoopee.
Going home, baby. Don't forget, folks, that's what you get. And don't forget, folks, that's what you get. Right, Harry? Don't forget, folks, that's what you get.
For making whoopee. Making,
Yeah. So true.
better keep her.
You know what? That was fun. You told the story good. I like the way you did that.
Well, it's a great story, and it's something a lot of people can relate to. It's relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Good writers with their melodies and their patterns, which I call chord progression.
Right.
You add good words to that, and you've got a story.
That's right. That's right, man. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I hope someday they start writing like that again. I mean, not to say there's not good stuff now. There's wonderful stuff, but it wouldn't be bad to dip back in the well a little bit. You know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
people read an awful lot of poetry and things like that.
Oh, that's a way to think.
So
of
they
it,
would
yeah.
get it. And now there's not as much poetry written. So a lot of the stuff is poignant. I look to the songwriters. They're the last poets out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You've got a Jason Mraz, or you've got so many good writers.
Yeah, I know, man. And at the same time, you know, if the world changes and all these different issues come up, prevalent issues in the world, and people want to set a mood. It might not be a song about what's going on in the world, but they want a mood set so they can escape, you know. And it really is a very creative world to live in, you know.
Well,
And,
you might make a quick reference to the world politics, but in the 60s it was all over the place.
That's right.
You're always talking about politics and war and everything, and now it's relationships. So relationships are always going to come shining through because more people can relate
Yeah,
to.
well, speaking of that, you know, there's ballads that people used to be able to swing. Like swing ballads, I don't know if there's a bunch of them around anymore. You might hear a few here and there. Harry Conniff Jr., you know, Bublé, those cats, they're able to do that.
They're still doing
It's
a lot
a
of those.
wonderful art form. Of course, it's Sinatra, you know, even Johnny Mathison. By the way, that tune, Misty, that we're about to do, was done by Ella Fitzgerald, and I mean, my God, Tony Bennett, everybody.
You know what? I just heard. I know we're coming up to Misty, but I heard Colby Calais and Jason Mraz do a song called "Lucky," which was just swinging away. So the swing isn't gone. They captured it quite nicely.
Good.
And that's completely newly written song but it's in that old swing feel that we used to love to hear.
Yeah.
ballads, lightly swung or quickly swung. I mean, the jazz guys would take a ballad and just speed it along, just for the sake, not of the lyrics so much, but of that great chord progression to play over.
Yeah, and a lot of them are major minor things. Like the one we just played, Makin' Whoopee, is G. It's A minor. It's B minor. It's C. You know.
Yeah, that's
a
the
C
major scale in chords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that around. I mean, of course, nobody really talks about it very much, but it's prevalent.
Kind of understood amongst the musicians, but
Yeah.
the layman out there doesn't really
Yeah. Yeah.
quite grasp how they achieve this togetherness.
Yeah.
But we're back to patterns again.
Well, back to Misty. You know what? We got a band you're not going to believe. You know who they are.
Oh, man. Well,
these are our buddies, man.
These are some of
guys.
my favorite musicians anywhere.
Yeah.
I know Terry Harr from up Lake County now.
Right.
He started out with us in South Florida. He's a Pittsburgh guy, wonderful pianist. Keith Wilson, he's from Santa Cruz, California. We all kind of migrated here.
Right.
And Keith plays for everybody.
Right.
Guess who's here? Your old buddy, and
My
we're
old
going
buddy,
back
Joe
to the old
Donato,
neighborhood. Now, Joe carries on in grand fashion.
Well, I got to tell you a story about Joe. We're both from, I was born in Philly, but I spent an awful lot of time in Florida. So did Joe. But the thing is, when we were kids, me and Joe, we were hanging around Philly during the days of Bandstand.
Big
You know,
days.
cats like Bobby Rydell
Big
and Frankie
days.
Avalon, all this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you had John Coltrane living in Philadelphia. I mean,
Exactly right.
There was a lot of music going on, and the birth of rock and roll right there, Bandstand, of course, and swing dancing. That was a beginning of it all. Well, meanwhile, me and Joe are kids. We're running around playing over in Atlantic City and, getting those gigs that, only you got to lie about your age to get in there to go to work, but we did it. And Joe was kind of a child prodigy, and he had an uncle that mentored him. His name was Tony Sanso. Tony, and I'm only mentioning Tony because he's a beautiful cat, and we all out there in the music business need a mentor,
Mentors.
especially when we're younger.
Mentors.
And Tony was Joe's mentor and mine. So we have that in common. I had to say that. I hope you'll forgive me for that.
What a
but,
wonderful saxophonist Joe Donato is. And you go down to South Florida, he's involved with all kinds of musical projects. You mentioned the orchestra, the jazz
the
orchestra.
Co-op jazz.
Co-op
Yep,
jazz.
That would be University of Miami.
One of the biggest
Cats.
in the country.
Yes, it is.
Carrying on, waving the jazz banner.
Yeah.
Traditional jazz as well as contemporary and Latin, they cover all the bases.
Yeah, man. Anyway, you're going to hear a really cooking band coming up. The Old Dogs Band, we're calling it, because that's us.
That's
we gotta
us.
go with that. And who's playing bass, by the way, in that band?
One of the finest bass players ever. That's yours truly, Captain Harry.
All right, buddy.
My bass instincts are there.
All right, let's get some Misty.
Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. Oh, I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Oh, baby. You can walk my way, and 1,000 mandolins begin to play. Or it could be the sound of your that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. And don't you notice how helplessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. Joe Donato. Could be the sound of your hello and that music I hear. I get misty, baby. Oh, I get misty, yeah. I get misty. Too much in love.
I have looked all over town. I'll tell you one thing I have found. Old dogs can be fun to have around.